This is the BBC.
This podcast is supported by advertising outside the UK.
I'm Mubin Azar, and thanks for downloading this Crossing Continents podcast. I've made lots of programs in Pakistan, and I'm always interested in counterculture. But this time around, the story was way more complicated than I originally thought it would be. There's a clash going on, not just as you might expect between transgender people and the establishment, but between the old and new guard. So this is a story about gender, and it's also about the generation gap. I had a lot of fun making it, so I hope you enjoy it. This is Inside Transgender Pakistan.
Hello everyone and Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much. Today is a Trans Visibility Day.
In this university auditorium, Kami Chowdhury takes the stage. She's a transgender woman, and this is Transgender Visibility Day.
Gender is in your head and sex is between in your legs. I'm a transgender woman. That's my right.
This is Karachi, a city where societal norms are fiercely prescriptive and where standing out can get you killed. Such campaigning might seem brave, brazen even, but to many in Pakistan, gender fluidity is nothing new. For centuries, Pakistani society has had its own answer for people who don't define their sex as either male or female. But that's now being challenged by people like Kami. In this week's Crossing Continents, I've set out to discover how and if the modern trans rights movement fits with an ancient cornerstone of Pakistani society, what the locals call Khwaja Sera, or the third gender.
I always take care of my hair. Last night, a friend of mine, she crushed the onion and take water from it, and I just apply on my head and massage, and I get good massage on my head.
Kami's rose petal lips and slick black hair are photo shoot ready. She's striking and has an entirely feminine frame, complete with newly emerging breasts. As I meet her in her humble two-bedroom apartment, Kami has the persona of a one-woman party.
Okay. Hi, this is me, Kami Chaudhary, and I am 27-year-old, and I was born in Karachi, raised in Karachi. Basically, I love Karachi because Karachi is all about love. I always say Kami has always been a celebration, darling. Do celebrate me, otherwise go to your home, okay?
You know, I always see you pop up on social media and you're in a different continent, a different city.
First time I was traveling in Bangkok for some UN high-level meeting. After Bangkok, I got some scholarship from Melbourne, South Africa, Copenhagen Pride in 2015, and I traveled Malmo as well. Last year when I was traveling to Amsterdam, in Qatar airport, and a guy come from the door, and he was an Indian guy. He's saying, "Hi, you are a Kami." I was like, "Yes." "You're the first Pakistani transgender woman." "Yes." I say, "Okay." He say, "I'm your fan, and I just want to upgrade your ticket from economy to a business class." I was like, "Darling, really? Is this happening?" Because this kind of change makes you feel very proud.
Do you think it's important for you personally to kind of push the boundaries?
Yes, because we're educated enough. We have to do something like other people are doing in Pakistan. Nowadays, so many people from other cities, they are backbiting, they are writing about me. And I was like, okay, darling, first do what I did in the past. First be like a Kami, then talk about me. Otherwise, you are just bullshit for me.
Why do you think they see you as a threat, or why do they need to write about you?
Because I am very public, and people are always talking about Kami, and that kind of celebrity status, it's come from my God, what I believe. I already got support. My mother supports me, and after that my boyfriend support me, and after that all the mentors and my friends support me. And nowadays, you see, Kami don't need anything. Kami is all about Kami. So
I've known Kami for a few years, and every time I come to Karachi, her celebrity status has gone up a few notches. Most recently, she was labelled Pakistan's first transgender supermodel by BuzzFeed and The Guardian. It's an enticing, click-worthy title, but it overlooks the fact that there's already an established culture of gender fluidity in Pakistan. Gami stands out because she identifies as transgender, not as Khwaja Sera or third gender as is accepted here. It might seem like a small distinction, but its impact is huge. The term transgender refers to people whose gender identity differs from their birth sex. So a transgender woman is a woman who was born with male genitalia. But in Pakistan, that a more established, more complicated gender identity is much less romantic. Bindiya Rana is the grand matriarch of the Khwaja Sera community in Karachi. So revered, she stood in the provincial election in 2013. She looks like a traditional Pakistani mother, complete with a chiffon scarf draped over her head and a little faded red lipstick. She tells me about her fight for respect.
A good
friend of mine had a heart attack. I put her in a taxi and took her to hospital, but she died on the way. I brought her back and spoke to her parents about where should I take the dead body. When I got to the mortuary, the staff were laughing. Huh? One of your Khwaja Sara are dead? They were laughing. I said, when someone dies, your mother, your brother or your child, do you laugh like this? Are you happy like this? They all went quiet. That day I thought these people don't even see us as human. No one listened to us. When I decided to stand in the election, these people were terrified. I fought the election because no one knows the pain we go through. In all honesty, I knew I could not win the election. The day I got my name on the ballot paper is the day I won.
So you stood to make a point more than anything else.
I said if I win, the rubbish in the streets will be cleared, the gutters will be cleaned. I will make a community center for Khwaja Sara men, women and children, so they can learn a skill and make a living rather than get into robbing people and drugs. If these things end, I have won. Because we people don't have our own children, we create our own families. People become chelas or daughters. The Guru-Chela system is like a tribe. You can think of the Guru as the father. You can think of the Chela as the son. Whatever is earned, he will give a small amount to his Guru. Some people have 8 or 10 Chelas. With God's grace, I have 50.
50? This is a very personal question, but if you've got 50 chelas, does that mean you're rich? Are you rich?
No. You don't understand. I don't take anything from them because my Guru took nothing from me. He supported me. He stopped me from doing bad things.
Can I meet some of your chelas? A few days later, Bindiya invites me to a party. I arrive just after a power cut. The entire area, cobbled narrow lanes and seemingly useless power cables, is in darkness. I can hear the Khwaja Sera singing before I even enter the house. This community has traditionally made a living from dancing and singing, and tonight's party is all about performance.
My name is Samreen Naz. Today is my birthday, so we are all celebrating.
Sambreen likes being the center of attention. Her hourglass silhouette is wrapped in a tight-fitting purple shalwar kameez. She dances, sings, and positively charms the party guests. Sambreen, Bindiya, and the other Khwaja Seras talk me through the intricate details of their sparkly outfits and playfully ask if I've ever been to a party like this before. Soon, attention turns to family.
Guru like mom, dad. Guru is like mum and dad. They are our parents. Chela is like a child, a student, apprentice.
Achha, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 of you in here. Do all 8 of you have a guru?
The guru is crucial to us because if you have a dispute or a problem, she will listen and mediate. We say, if you don't have a guru, you have nothing.
It sounds like there's a social support network, but is there a financial aspect?
Look, you need money for everything in life. I bet you give money to your parents. Surely, it's normal. That's why you raise chelas, for some comfort and support in your old age. It's obvious. Everyone needs financial support.
I've met people in Karachi that say, we are not Khwaja Sera, we are transgender women, so we don't need a guru. How do you feel about that?
They can't ever be women. They can't give birth to a child. If they say they don't accept gurus, then they are not from amongst us.
वो फेक हैं, उनका कोई पहचान नहीं, जिनका गुरु नहीं उनकी कोई पहचान नहीं है.
They are fake. If they don't have a guru, we don't recognize them. They are black sheep. I don't know who they are.
You don't know who these people are or who they belong to. They could be used as terrorists. They might as well be in the Taliban. These people who are giving our field a bad name. And these people who say they are transgender. That concept is just wrong. They can never be women. Even if they change their bodies, they can't change what Allah has made and put on earth.
When you say it's wrong, is it wrong you mean culturally or do you mean religiously or both?
ये इस्लाम में भी गलत है. अगर आप कहते हैं कि मैं
It's wrong in Islam. If God has not made you a woman, how can you be a woman? We are not women. We are what Allah has made. Have as much surgery as you want. You can't change that.
अब जो मतलब बच्चा बोलेगा मेरा बाप ही नहीं है तो आप उसको क्या कहेंगे?
If a child says he doesn't have a father, what will you call them? In our system, you will call them a bastard.
Do you think the system of Khwaja Seras and the system of gurus and chelas will ever become outdated?
ये दिल के रिश्तों से बना हुआ है.
It's all about relationship of heart, so it can never end. Since the world was created, we have been here. Since Pakistan and India have existed, since the time of Mughal Azam, we have been here. Every country has a culture and laws. There are boundaries. You must work within these boundaries, okay?
The third gender culture and the familial system it offers grants Khwaja Seras a degree of protection, much needed when ways of making money are limited and stigmatized. Akhtar, who I met at the party, didn't speak up when I asked about the benefits of the Guru Chela system. Instead, she invites me to her home in Urangi, a rough part of the city that most Karachiites steer clear of. Her face is drenched in sweat from the mid-afternoon sun, mixed with rouge and a thick powder base. Akhtar is excitable and brings out a photo album. She shows me pictures from the 80s. She's dancing and posing at exclusive Karachi parties. In her words, she wants to show me what she looked like when she was beautiful. It's clear Akhtar is struggling with life as an older Khwaja Sera.
Everything has an age. That's when you get your due. When you're older, you'll get 1/4.
How do you make your money?
In the old days, people used to call us for weddings, births, birthday parties. But things have changed. No one calls me anymore. These days, people shut their doors. Now I stand on the road at night. I get ready and stand there. There are bad people at night with wives and children, but they have a habit of sin. You have to make money, whatever state you're in.
Is the majority of your income now from sex work?
We say, give me 500 or 1,000, but they don't want to. So they'll offer me 50 or 100.
Can you survive on that much money?
That's not enough money for one meal. What can I do then? One night I was standing there and a man called me over. But he called me with love. He said, "You seem nice. Sit with me." Let's make love. I thought, okay, sure. Then he took me out to the jungle and did what he wanted. He beat me. He ripped my clothes. He left me naked in the night and took my money. My leg was broken. I was scared. My life could have ended. No one would have known.
Is there any system in place that offers protection? You know, the Guru Chela system or the police or the authorities?
There is no help at all. There is no one to listen to people like me. Lots of people talk big, but we are fallen people. Bindya Rana is our president. She's my guru. I love her. She's my life. But no one even listens to her. So who will listen to me?
As Akhtar points out, the Guru Chella system sometimes fails to offer protection from the most hostile sections of society. What then if this support network, flawed as it is out of your reach? If you identify not as a Khwaja Sera, but as a transgender man?
I'm really good, thank you. Can I come?
The Punjabi city of Lahore is now home to Mani, one of Pakistan's few openly transgender men. 3 years ago, she became he.
This room as a store, and in winters it converted into a sitting area.
Mani now lives with his girlfriend Razia in a cozy flat in a nice part of the city.
So it's
Mani is all big smiles, bear hugs and pats on the back. He's also very clearly in love.
she's a perfect girl. She is a married material woman. So I can't see my life without her.
He enjoys telling his story. It has all the twists and turns of a Pakistani soap opera.
It took me so long to come in front of my family. So one day I decided to talk to my sister. So I called her and I said, I don't think so, I'm a woman. I feel like a man. So it's okay, it's happened. Go to some psychiatrist, we'll talk later. So we waited for the few months and we decided to run away. So we escaped from the Karachi.
You just decided it was time to go.
Yeah. Okay. We ran away from Karachi and came to Lahore at one of my friends. And the same day, my two brother-in-law showed up at my friend's place.
So they'd come all the way from Karachi?
From Karachi.
It sounds quite stressful. Was it?
It was. Tears and loudness, screamings and all. So then we decided to go back with them. So it was 3:30 or 4 a.m. They booked the flight and we went back to Karachi.
Despite familial pressure, Mani and Razia continued to see each other. Just a few weeks later, they decided once more to leave their homes.
I asked my dad that I have opportunity in Lahore, so I want to go to Lahore. So he said, you again started. If you go to Lahore, I will not talk to you ever in my life. And I packed my bag and I left.
Have you got any relationship with your father?
No.
How long have you both lived here?
Almost 3 years now. We are living together. But like for society, there are two sisters living together.
They think you're two sisters?
Yeah, living together.
But even, if you don't mind me saying, when I met you, you look, I would say, you're a trans man. Your whole demeanor, you sit like a man in Pakistani culture would sit. You're wearing t-shirts and jogging bottoms. You've got short hair. So Urdu is such a gender-specific language. Do people approach you as bhaiya, as brother, or as sister? How do they approach you?
So people who know me, like some dukan, some shop men, they call me Baji, na, and I'm fine with it because
I still call you sister.
Yeah, because I don't want to put myself in some weird situation.
So by weird situation, you mean you don't need to assert yourself so much because it could have repercussions?
But a person who are meeting me first time, for them I'm a man, so it's fine.
Have you made the decision to move forward with your transition?
Yes, it's been more than a year I'm on hormones. I recently had my top surgery
So you've had your breast removed?
Yes, I had my breast removal, and my next step would be bottom surgery. And
So you'll get a penis?
yeah, a penis and ovary removal and all the things, but it's expensive and we don't have facilities in Pakistan.
Mani and Razia have decided how to live and love. To do so publicly is truly brave in a society that has such strict rules when it comes to relationships. Now, the discussion of gender fluidity is making it into the Pakistani mainstream and has reportedly received support from some surprising quarters.
Praise God, we are the Tanzeem Ittihadul Ummat Pakistan. We formed the group because our society is in need of unity.
Maulana Zia-ul Haq Naqshbandi is from the Organization for the Unity of Muslims. He was one of the senior imams who recently endorsed a fatwa declaring that Islam guarantees their gender rights, a seemingly progressive and liberal take. The fatwa made him an unlikely but very willing star.
Praise God, when I made my fatwa, I had the media of 24 countries contact me. Over 2 million people have watched my video. The Times of India, the Hindu Times, New York Times, the world's best media printed this story.
The edict declares that Khwaja Seras have the right to get married and was picked up internationally as an endorsement of marriage equality. I asked the Imam how he reached his conclusion.
These things were already there in Arabic and Persian books. Look, Islam declared that Khwaja Sara who has menses, a small hole down there, if she has menses, she is a woman. Regardless of her body, she can marry a normal man. Similarly, the Khwaja Sara, that is a man, whatever the size of his penis, as long as there is discharge and he can have sex, he can marry a normal woman. But the Khwaja Sara who is neither man or woman, who doesn't have menses or discharge, that kind of Khwaja Sara is forbidden to marry anyone.
But these fatwas, on the surface, they sound really progressive, but in a practical sense, they wouldn't help people that I've met whilst I've been in Pakistan.
Look, a woman that God has created as a woman will remain a woman. Islam is about nature, so it can't provide permission to go against nature. Similarly, these days men are marrying men. That is forbidden. It's sinful.
You seem to be suggesting that the identity of someone that is transgender is distinct from someone that is Khwaja Sera or third gender.
Look, this is new to me. You have a right to live as you want, but Islam doesn't give you permission to live like that. It's not in Islam. If you are a man, you should live your life as a man. God has given you a mouth to eat. What if a man says, I want to eat from behind? It can't happen. I appeal to those brothers. It's okay, whatever it is, but Islam does not give you permission.
The Imam clearly has some good intention, but it's difficult to think of a practical application of his decree. I can't really see how it helps anyone. The ruling was reported on in the English language press as Pakistani cleric declares transgender marriages legal under Islamic law. That's the Reuters headline. I read it on my way here. And once again, that might make a sexy tagline, but it just doesn't do justice to the complexities of gender and how it's understood in Pakistan.
I think the transgender identity is a fairly new identity. When our work first started back in 2010, we would talk to people, to Khwaja Saras, and they would not identify themselves as transgender.
Qasim Iqbal coordinates research for the NAZ project in Pakistan. He believes the term transgender falls short of adequately describing the range of gender identities that exist here.
We did a survey back in 2011 in which we asked them if they identified as male or female, and their response was overwhelmingly, 87%, was that they identified as neither. They identified as a third gender. And even our general population in Pakistan, the general society, they consider the transgender persons as a third gender as well, in the sense that they feel that they're God's special chosen people because he gave them both genders. The older ones, they want to remain the third gender because culturally that's what Khwaja Saras have been. But the newer generation, when they say they are a transgender, they are actually referring to the transgender that the West acknowledges.
Do you think one of the reasons there's a tension there is because the transgender identity perhaps threatens the systems that exist within the Khwaja Sera third gender community?
Khwaja Sera culture is something that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. I mean, they actually have a lineage that you can trace back to the Mughal eras. The transgender women, some of them would like the option of breaking away from that control of a guru. A lot of the modern transgender ones are wearing Daisy Duke shorts, tube tops, and they're breaking away from that tradition. They're becoming more hip, more modern, and that makes them feel perhaps that they're more civilized in some sort of a way, better than their older generation.
How are they better?
Because now they're more westernized, and we are enamored by the West here in Pakistan.
Is that a shame though? Because when you said that, I saw you kind of wince a little bit. Are you wincing because it might die out?
I think the Guru Chela system, the Khwaja Sara system, is very important for the survival of any trans woman in Pakistan because it gives them an umbrella of protection.
In its 70th year of independence, the discourse around gender fluidity in Pakistan is more complicated than it's ever been before. In many ways, this nation is years ahead of Europe, acknowledging and sometimes celebrating a third gender as part of its established history and future. But the ability to choose gender outside of the established third gender system remains elusive and is almost exclusively the preserve of the privileged. At the time of broadcast, Mani is still trying to raise money for his gender realignment and is yet to reconnect with his father. Bindia is working with an NGO on Khwaja Sera rights, and Kami is working on her first feature film. She wants to be recognised as a trans icon across the world. Thank you for listening. The programme editor is Bridget Harney, and it was cut by Shabnam Grul and Neil Churchill at New Broadcasting House. Thanks also to Khalid Wasim, who's my location manager. He's always on hand for my adventures in Pakistan. If you enjoyed the documentary, you might also like other programmes I've made in the region, especially Inside Pakistan, which you can download now from the BBC website.